Have you ever looked at a car and just thought, that is one ugly car? Well, if you have, then this video's for you. In today's video, we'll be talking about the ugliest cars in the world. Whether it was the trend at the time or the designers just wanted to try something new but it flopped, here are some cars that are just not pleasing to the eye. If you like content like this, be sure to keep watching, and let us know which car you thought was the ugliest. Before we begin the video, please make sure to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. And make sure to turn on post notifications so you can be the first to know about my next video. Alright, let's get into it. Number 1. Fiat Multipla. Starting off strong with this car that kind of looks like the design was a mistake or it was manufactured wrong in the factory. However, the interior of the car was actually planned out very wisely to allow for extra space. But because the car looks so ugly, it really is a shame. It just sort of looks like the top of the car is just a bump. I don't know, I can see why nobody wants to be seen driving this, even though it has a great interior and is apparently very easy to drive. Number 2. Volkswagen Type 181. Okay, this car looks like a shed. To be fair, it was designed by the German military in the late 1960s, but was then sold to the public under a number of names such as the Trekker in the UK and the Thing in America. The car is just gray and metal, and doesn't really have any appeal to it unless you are into a sort of military minimalistic type car, then maybe this would be the one for you. Either way, they were definitely not thinking about looks when they designed this car for the German military, but come on, it could have used another coat of paint for the public at least. Number 3. Nissan Cube. Just by the name, you know that this car isn't going to be pretty. It literally looks like a cube, and not in a cool way. It was pretty much designed as a box on wheels, but on the bright side, the inside was pretty spacious. This was a pretty practical car considering it was quite small, but still had a good amount of space. But the back of the car was also asymmetrical, which put off a lot of potential buyers. As most car rears are symmetrical for practical purposes, nobody really knows why they did it, but if they were trying to start a trend, it didn't really catch on. Number 4. Cadillac Seville. The Seville almost looks like a typical 1980s car, but the downward sloping shoulder line kind of makes the car look like it's melted, which isn't a good look, surprisingly. The car doesn't necessarily look awful, it's just not the most appealing car compared to many others. However, the car has caught the eye of many collectors and nowadays can be sold for over $10,000. So don't put it down too quickly. Number 5. Sparrow Autobahn Concept. Okay, everything about this car is just ugly. From the yellow color, which is a little off-putting, to the nightmarish Batmobile-like shape, it's just not an attractive car, but maybe would appeal to sports car collectors. The car was revealed at the 2010 Geneva Motor Show. The car had a 12-cylinder unit from Ferrari powering it, which did make it a little more impressive. However, the Autobahn only produced 500 horsepower, which isn't a great deal when compared to today's supercar standards. Definitely not a car we'll be seeing again with any luck. Number 6. Chrysler PT Cruiser. The PT Cruiser was created to recapture some of the magic of the 1950s cars. It kind of did that with its cherry red color, but that's about it. The shape just doesn't look right for some reason, and it almost looks like someone hit the bumper and now it just has a permanent dent in it. I don't get it, but it's pretty confusing and unappealing to the eye. Number 7. Aston Martin Lagonda. Even though this car isn't the prettiest, it is now a prized possession among car collectors, being worth around $100,000. Just goes to show you that looks can't get you everything. This 1980s Aston Martin stands out as probably the least attractive design of theirs, but for the 1980s, the minimalist exterior and interior was really futuristic, and is probably why the car is a collector's piece today. In reality, it just looks really boxy, and the front looks a little too small. Not too pretty, but hey, it's still being talked about today, so that must mean something. Number 8. Nissan Cargo. This car could be cute. It's so colorful that it's off-putting. It kind of looks like a Picasso painting, but on a car. I don't even know when you'd use it. It's just not an everyday car, plus the colors clash. Basically, this car has nothing appealing with it, and I can't understand why they even made it. Did they think awkward color combinations were in style? Was it supposed to be a trend starter? Let us know what you think in the comments. Number 9. Fiat 600 Multipla Marinera. Okay, we'll give this a few extra points because it's from the 1950s, and to be fair, it kind of suits that era. except it looks like a camper van. It even has straw seats. This car may not have been meant for the road, but it just doesn't make sense what the purpose for it was anyway. It looks a lot like a Barbie car, but maybe Fiat thought it'd be charming. Either way, don't take too many sharp turns in this car or something is bound to fly out. Take my advice before it's too late. Number 10. Plymouth Prowler. This car is another nod to the 1950s, being inspired by hot rods, but perhaps done wrong? This car isn't the worst thing ever, but the whole body looks wrong, and almost like a Hot Wheels model that didn't make the cut. The Plymouth Prowler of the late 90s just doesn't work visually, and it also came with an optional trailer, which just didn't work out at all. Unsurprisingly, the Plymouth brand died shortly after the release of the Prowler. However, for those car collectors out there, it's definitely risen in value and is worth about $30,000 today. Number 11. Chevrolet SSR. A lot of car companies love to reimagine retro cars for the modern world. Sometimes this works brilliantly. In the case of the Chevrolet SSR, however, this just didn't work. This is just a terrible car with the shape being too round, and it seems to capture the 1950s cars in the worst possible way by just making them a little ugly. The Chevrolet SSR packs many objects of different shapes together, and instead of creating a nostalgic feel, it just created hostility towards the model. Yikes. Number 12. Tesla Cybertruck. This one seriously might be one of the worst on this list. It just doesn't make any sense why anyone would do this. I get it, Tesla wants to create cars of the future, and this was a good attempt, but come on, the car literally looks like a Lego. And cars are supposed to be streamlined to allow for more speed. Surely this doesn't help. This car sets social platforms on fire, and we can definitely see why people were definitely confused when this car design came out, and I still am. It definitely redefines the truck, but in the best way possible? We're not sure. Let's see where this design goes in the future. Number 13. McLaren Senna. Okay, supercar fans may not be happy with this. Sure, the McLaren Senna is one of the best supercars in the world, and is Formula One's #1 car. Of course, it had some previous issues with catching fire, but once those issues were solved, the main issues still continued. It's just not a pretty car. The car just appears to be designed by Skound, which of course makes sense considering it's a racing car, but it's still unappealing. The car doesn't really look right aesthetically, it just looks like a compilation of car parts put together as a science experiment, but hey, it gets the job done, I guess. Number 14. Porsche Panamera. The Porsche Panamera is an outstanding performer, there's no doubt about that, but it's never been the prettiest car, we have to admit. The car has an awkward proportion and the back end seems to taper down too quickly, giving the car an overall weird shape, and even Porsche's CEO, Matthias Müller, admitted that the exterior design of the Panamera could still be better. But still, since its introduction in 2009, the Panamera has been one of the company's best-selling vehicles, so despite its weird looks, it still seems to be loved by a lot of people. And finally, number 15. BMW i3. This car looks like a bug. There's no denying it. What was BMW thinking, you ask? I wish I could tell you. The car, in theory, has some good qualities. It has an electric range of 80 miles and is among the cheapest models of the Bavarian Marquis. However, it looks nothing like you would imagine a BMW looking like, and that's probably why it hasn't been the most popular model among the general public. We get the whole smart car appearance, but it just seems a little off-brand for this car company. What do you think? Would you buy this car? And that concludes today's video of ugliest cars in the world. Which one was the ugliest? I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and make sure to turn on post notifications so you can be the first to hear about my next video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.